What's up, you guys? Welcome back to this week's Manga Sutra Manga review, and in this week's video, we're going to be covering an ecchi seinen school life manga called Yancha no Anjou-san. Now, the manga explores the evolving relationship between Seto and this girl at his school named Anjou. Now, at the start of the manga, we have Seto, which is our shy, nerdy, somewhat meek, nerdy guy, right? And then we have Anjou, who apparently is his bully. And she teases him, she jokes with him, she makes a lot of lewd or seemingly sexual comments. And, the dynamic here is Anjou would tease him, Seto would get flustered, Anjou would take enjoyment in him being flustered. And this goes on and on and on and on and on. But the real question here is, does Anjou really like Seto? Does Seto really like Anjou? And are they going to become something? And, as the manga progresses, we see a lot of exploration into that. We see a lot of exploration when Anjou jokes that she's just trying to attract or she's trying to seduce one person. There's a lot of other people throughout the manga that ask Anjou out. There's a lot of people that ask her to do things or, try to hit on her. And then we see Anjou really just shut it down. She just shuts it down and she says, I'm only after one person. There's only one person I care about. And, there's been a couple of times that she jokes that it's Seto and that Seto is the only person that she's trying to seduce. Seto is the only person she has her eyes on, right? And, there have been times that other people have called Anjou pretty much a thought or a hoe or that she is a sex worker or something, and that she's been with everybody around the school. And Seto has been asked his opinions on this. And Seto pretty much said it doesn't make any difference if she didn't do it with anybody or if she's did it with everybody. I would still like her the same. Or I would still like somebody or something the same, even if it wasn't used by anybody, even if it was used by everybody. And I think that was one of the things that got Anjou to really get onto Seto's radar, I suppose, or get interested in Seto, because it shows Seto has a more mature mindset. He has a more open mindset. He sees Anjou beyond the perception of what the other students at the school sees her. He sees her for her personality. He sees her for the things that she does. How she likes to cook, how she has life outside of school, how she has other obligations, how she has dreams and goals. And these are the things that Seto likes, that Seto tries to explore when it comes to Anjou-san. But I think one of the things that kind of gets me about this manga is definitely like Seto does not really take the initiative. There's a lot of times Anjou-san is like, I'll do anything, or we can do anything that you want, and Seto is just like, huh. And I'm just like, look, man, look, when I was growing up, there has been a lot of situations when I was growing up that I could have had things go a lot better if I just had the willpower and if I just had the determination to ask for it or go for it, right? And I think Seto is in the same situation. Like, he's oblivious to it, or he knows that she's making lewd and sexual comments. He just doesn't have the willpower. He just doesn't have the bravery to go for it. And it's cute and all, like, for a good bit of the manga, it's cute and all. It's cute. Don't get me wrong, it's cute. But after a certain point, it's just like, Seto, if you don't go for it one more time, if you keep saying, hey, or you keep acting like you are nervous or confused, I will come through these manga panels and I will slap you. I will slap you. I will. And I think another thing that I have with this manga that really isn't really a complaint, it's more so just something I would like to point out. It's ecchi, right? So you're expecting a lot of lewd, a lot of extremely sexual stuff. But in the reality of it is, when you read the manga, it's more so cute. It's more so romance. I think it's kind of ironic that it's not a romance manga. It's not tagged as a romance manga, and it's tagged as an ecchi manga, because I'm about like 37 chapters, 38 chapters in. You get more so romantic types of situations than sexual ones. You don't really have anything sexual go on between Seto and Anjou that is too above the water, you know, that's too above the water. Everything is pretty much leaning more so on the romantic side, and I don't have a problem with it. I actually like this. I actually like what's going on between Seto and Anjou. I think, if anything, the manga lowered my expectations, right? I was like, when are they gonna do it? Let's just be honest. That was my impression. When are they gonna do it? But now, my impression is, when are they actually gonna kiss? Like, when are they actually just gonna full on kiss and mean it, right? They have not kissed yet. Or if they have kissed, it was like in a joking or teasing way that Anjou kind of set the mood for. But I just want to read up until a point in the manga where Seto just goes for it. He just goes for the kiss. He's just like, fuck it. And she just lets it happen. I just want them to kiss, all right? It's an ecchi manga, and I want them to kiss. I don't even want them to do it. I just want them to kiss. Also, we see another subplot or little sub-romance going on, right? There's Inuyama, who's more so on the ecchi side. I think Inuyama brings more of the ecchi into the manga than Seto and Anjou do. I mean, Seto, you know, he's nerdy. He's not going to go for it. Inuyama, he's a pervert, right? He is the one that is always, you know, creating molds and casts of women's body parts. He has a crush on one of Anjou's friends. He does a lot of perverted things throughout the manga. All right, so Inuyama brings the ecchi, but Seto brings the romance. Let's just admit that. Now, my final thoughts on this whole entire manga, right? This is beautiful. This is beautiful. All right, I didn't really like the artwork at first, right? I didn't like the artwork at first. I really wasn't into it. But as you read more and more and more, Anjou and her art style begins to rub off on you, all right? You begin to like it. You begin to like Anjou. You begin to grow and warm up to Anjou-san. You begin to warm up to the art style of all the characters, right? But more so particularly Anjou-san. It's just the way her eyes are drawn. It's just the way that she is, right? She's a gyaru. And if you guys don't know, gyaru is a type of fashion or art style in Japan. It's like girls with tan skin, blonde hair, lots of makeup, a certain way of dress. Is like this punk rock. It's its own little fashion style, and apparently Anjou-san is a gyaru. So she begins to rub off on you. A lot of things about her begins to rub off on you. Her character style, her artwork, just her life, her personality, all of it, right? You begin to realize that just because she's flirty and just because she makes sexual innuendos towards Seto, it doesn't mean that she's a thought. It doesn't mean that she's a hoe. None of that. She has a lot more going on, and that she is just a wonderful, vibrant person. But you also really, I think, really at this point, Anjou is fine. She's perfect, right? She's perfect. I really want Seto to develop into his own person. I want him to develop his own courage, his own personality, his own thing. I want him to go out and not be afraid to venture. It just seems like Anjou's the one pushing him along. And, you know, it's an interesting dynamic, you know, the meek guy and the strong and confident woman, and, you know, the teasing and, you know, the back and forth push-pull dynamic between them. But at the same time, I want Seto to develop here. I want Seto to become his own person. I want Seto to become brave enough. It doesn't mean that he can't still be meek and nervous when Anjou is making advances towards him, but I want him to be able to go for one of those advances eventually, right? I want him to be able to stand up for Anjou-san. Maybe later on in the manga if something happens. I don't know. I just think it's beautiful. I don't really see it's more of an ecchi manga. It's more so of a romance manga, but I would recommend reading it. I think that Seto and Anjou have a beautiful relationship going on, and I think that you guys need to read it. The art style is pretty good. It warms on you after a couple of chapters, and, you know, I think the interactions between Seto and Anjou are pretty amazing, and Inuyama and his little sub-romance that he got going on with one of Anjou's friends is also very cute. So if that's your thing, read it. Love you guys. Bye.